It's me. Leave a message at the beep.
Hey, dude. Home safe and sound tonight. Thanks again, Uber. Crazy story. So the lady at the store said I was trying to steal Cheetos, which is ridiculous. Then this big dude kind of tackled me and started pulling a David Copperfield routine. He was like pulling bags out of my sweatshirt. Classic shakedown. Lady was like, "You want me to call the cops?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? Why don't we do that?" So the cops show up, and it's so stupid. I don't even wear my sweatshirt when I go out. Plus, the biggest thing is, I had an alibi. I was across town at the time. Nobody can place me at the location. And, stupid. I've got an alibi. So anyway, you're going to get a call from a detective, I assume today or tomorrow. We were at the Ram together until 9, then hung out at your place until 11, then you dropped me home. Really need this, man. This is kind of a big deal. Okay, thanks, dude. Welcome back to my second round of 5 podcasts. Oh boy, here we are. Yeah, I thought this was going to be a cheap endeavor, but I now realize it's not. I've spent quite a bit of money on equipment and professional help, and it seems professional help is what I need if I think this is going to end well. Good times. So yeah, I am buying a better microphone today, and a high quality recorder and all that. So you should notice quality step up dramatically pretty much right after this recording. I'm on iTunes now. I'm on YouTube, as some of you may know. There's a lot of fun to be had. And now I'm breaking everything down into segments and releasing them bit by bit throughout the week, just to see if I can get anybody else to watch this damn thing. And so far the answer is no. But on the plus side, when I lost my parents, I had very little to remember them by. I'm hoping that someday, hopefully in the distant future, when my children lose me, they'll at least have these first handful, perhaps 10 or 15 podcasts to go back and never watch. Well, maybe when they're in a particular mood. Anyhow, enough of that morbidity. Why don't we just jump in and get started? Today is the date. Today is the date. Today is the... What is today? Well, today is the date. Let's just start there. Well, here we are. Today is August 31st, the 3/1st of August. And that means it's almost time to go back to school. And if that means anything for me, it means peace and quiet. So, here's to peace and quiet. Though I've got, another podcast before it actually gets quiet. Okay, guys, let's get started. Okay, guys. Welcome back to intro number 2. Oh my, yes, intro number 2. So, yeah, I've got the new microphone. I've got the new recorder. Hopefully it sounds substantially better. It's probably a little bit poppy still since I don't have the windscreen for the microphone yet. But no, it's all great. It's good news. And this week we're going a little bit different with the format in that I'm focusing substantially more on the audio than the video and, hopefully making it something a little easier, more sustainable, and ultimately less costly because I'm losing money like crazy. So in fun news, my new computer's working rather well. My new microphone seems to be working rather well. My continued video aspect seems to be working rather well. And I'm actually getting a few viewers, listeners, watchers, whatever you may call them. Things are ramping up each time, ever so slightly. And I'm already up to 12 subscribers. Wow, that's great. That's great. That's just fucking great. So I'll, hopefully this will be more fun this week. And, I've got some new segment bumpers, some new segments, some new ideas, some old ideas, some borrowed and blue ideas. So now that I've gotten through the real introduction, now we can jump right in.
Joke of the week, joke of the week, joke of the week.
So when I asked Tina to marry me, there was a condition on it. Her best friend had to approve of it, Shannon. And basically what Shannon said was, let me take him out to dinner. Let me find out if his intentions are good. We'll go from there. So, big deal. We went out to dinner. We chatted. And it was like, I'll give my blessing, but, I think we're pretty much there, because, my intentions are noble. I mean, what? Go back to the house. I'm like, okay, good night, Shannon. Shannon was like, well, why don't you come in for just a minute? Because there's one more thing I want to talk about. I'm like, oh, geez, here we go. So we go inside, and Shannon looks me dead in the eyes and says, before I give my blessing for this, let's face it, unholy union, I need to know that you are a passionate lover for Tina. I was like, holy smokes, this is crazy. By the way, Shannon, younger, fit, hot body. I mean, very athletic, very, just a tight body. And I'm like, what? Shannon looks at me and says, I'm going upstairs. I'm getting in the shower. And you will join me. Well, no sooner did 3 steps up the stairs happen than I bolted out that front door faster than you'd know what to... I look like Speedy Gonzales mixed with the Tasmanian Devil. I head out. I run out to my car as fast as I can, and I hear yelling from behind me. I'm like, oh gosh, Shannon's pissed. No, I turn around. Tina's whole family is there. They were in the house waiting for me. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they go, no, it was a test. It was a test to see if you'd sleep with Shannon. And you passed. And I was like, wow. I can't believe it. I just can't believe my luck. And all I could think was, it's a damn good thing I keep my condoms in the glove box. So that worked out well. I should also mention Shannon's a guy, but I don't think that's relevant to the story. I think that's just kind of an afterthought. So yeah, that joke of the week brought to you by Not a Joke, True Story. That totally happened. So the segment title is perhaps a bit misleading. This is where I talk about lessons I learned from my childhood, or at least things that happened in my childhood that I've learned from since then. Today we're talking about Gilligan's Island. Oh yes, Gilligan's Island. What's to be learned there? Well, Gilligan's Island, as it turns out, was kind of like the Truman Show. The SS Minnow was so small, it could only have held enough fuel for a very short trip. A 3-hour tour, specifically. A 3-hour tour. Clearly, they're not even in international waters. They're like 50 to 100 miles offshore. There are people that can swim that far. The bigger thing is there are clearly cameras everywhere. Tools are discovered conveniently and spaced out episodically. When things lull, celebrities appear, hijinks ensue, and then magically they get away without any of the castaways joining them. Come on now. There is no seeming lack of hygiene products, oral, anal, or otherwise. Gross, but, it could be grosser. Do you realize how easy it is to send out a search and rescue team when the search area is only, the distance a tiny boat can travel in 3 hours? Hell, make it 9 hours. They left from Southern California. Every island within 2,000 miles is charted. Hell, every island everywhere is charted, but they're probably on the backside of Catalina. So who is the Truman in this crazy Truman Show? Well, let's see. It's got to be the captain. He's the unwitting star of the show. The professor is smart enough to escape. He can make a radio out of coconuts, and these conveniently found radio components, mostly assembled, he found in the underbrush. He knows where he is, and he knows how to be rescued. And at the very least, when other people show up, he would figure out a way to tag along with them when they leave. Gilligan has too many zingers. Clearly he's in the writer's pocket. I mean, they named the show after him. He's sure, he's as marooned as anyone, but he's happy as a clam to just keep napping and foiling rescue attempts. Ginger and Marianne, they never devolve into bitch mode or mangy repose. They have a full makeup crew, in case you couldn't tell. They know what's going on. The millionaire and his wife, Thurston Howell, come on. First of all, if a millionaire was lost at sea, he'd be rescued in a day. And that's to assume if they were castaways. No, the real 0.1% have people for this. The bigger thing is, they wouldn't be on a cruise with commoners. They'd be on a much more private getaway. Besides, the captain is the only one who loses his cool. Clearly, he's not in on the ruse. I don't know what sort of contract he signed to get them to release the rights to the footage, but he got suckered something fierce. And for what it's worth, the rest of the crew did too, because none of them got royalties on syndication. So all of them died more or less broke, despite this being in syndication for eons. So when he becomes physically abusive to Gilligan, Gilligan doesn't fight back against the captain. He doesn't defend himself verbally or physically. He just runs away and diffuses the situation with jokes. Oh, Gilligan. It's almost as if you know that the captain is the Truman in this perverse, twisted Truman Show. That's a lesson I learned from my childhood. So a few weeks back, I came up with this brilliant idea to make millions and millions of dollars, billions, arguably trillions by some estimation, involving orders of magnitude. Basically, what would happen is I would offer sponsorship on my podcast for $1. $1 to sponsor this podcast. And you wouldn't believe how many people stepped up. 0. So the idea is $1 to sponsor the first podcast, $10 for the second, 100,000, 10,000, and so on. Seems effortless. Orders of magnitude is all it takes. So I'm going to sweeten the deal, and I'm going to say, against my better judgment, the first person to sponsor a podcast gets in for the low, low price of 10 cents. Yes, it's only an order of magnitude, so it works. I'm going to drop the offer. 10 cents, sponsor a podcast. I mean, how can you go wrong? Except by actually paying 10 cents. I mean, if you send it by PayPal, it's going to cost you like 5 cents to send it. And if you drive it to me, it's going to cost you like $5 to send it. But you can do it. You can get in. not quite, it was the ground floor. Now it's the basement. You can get in on parking level 3 for the low, low price of 10 cents to sponsor my podcast. Man, if I could find someone's podcast to sponsor for a dime, I would do it. I guess that means technically I could sponsor my own. So I'm going to get in on the 1 penny floor and sponsor this myself. Next week, we can do 10 cents. We'll see how it goes. So for 1 cent, I would like to plug, gosh, I don't know, myself. Yes, I'm sponsoring myself. No, I'll sponsor the Church of Brian. It's a good segment. Not sure if I have one this week, but we'll figure it out. Okay. You know, I can only make it so easy for you guys. Don't forget to follow me at glossynews.com/podcast. It's got the link to iTunes and YouTube and Glossy News and all the other places you would hope to find it. It's awesome. Check it out. The site's probably not down right now, although it very well may be. But just give it a shot. Yeah. So that's a good start. Let's go there. This next segment is kind of a goofy one. My in-laws are living with me right now because they're temporarily homeless. They tried to move and their housing situation fell apart, and they got her mom to help them put stuff in storage and move stuff around. And they needed $130 to put stuff in storage, to pay for the U-Haul. So I paid the $130. And then we find out, nope, it's not paid for. All that money went in the gas tank, and now their credit card has been charged $142. So they decided to hold their stuff hostage, put an extra padlock on it, and start selling it on Facebook, even though it's not their belongings and the storage unit's not even in their name. It was in their billing name, but not in their ownership name. So I stepped in and had to deal with the craziest bitch alive, the most evil mother I've seen in a long time, and that includes my own. So here's a little phone call that I had with them, and I hope, for those of you viewing, you'll get to see some annotations on the screen. But for those of you not viewing, well, you'll just have to enjoy it for the majesty it is. Take a listen.
Hello?
Is Rosemary available?
This is her.
Hey, Rosemary, this is Brian from Seattle Register and the Glossy Podcast. I was wanting to call and give you some good news. You're getting your money.
What money?
Well, as I understand, your daughter Jen owes you $192, and you need to get that, so I'm here to help.
Okay, how am I getting my money?
Well, first, can you...
I've been fucked over too many times. I don't want to play my games.
Okay, well, language. What is the $192 for?
She had us rent her a U-Haul to move her from Everett to Tacoma, where she put her stuff in a storage unit under my other half's name.
Okay.
It is the remaining balance of that U-Haul that she told me she took care of, and they just pulled it and drained our bank account.
Okay. So, what would be a good solution for everyone?
She gives me my damn money, and I'll lock her storage locker so she can get her stuff.
Okay. Language. I'm here to help. What happens if she doesn't give you the money this second?
I have a yard sale as of Saturday.
Okay.
My bills have to be paid by Monday.
Okay.
The
So,
money that was pulled out of my account for her U-Haul truck
Okay.
is to pay my bills.
Okay.
My bills have to be paid by Monday. So either she gives me my money by Friday night, or come Saturday, I have a yard sale, because, again, the storage unit is in my other half's name.
Gotcha.
I have put a second padlock on it. If it gets removed, it is called breaking and entering.
Okay. Well, I must stress, I'm here to help. I can cut a check this second if it makes that big of a difference. But I do have to warn you, reporting it as breaking and entering would be a false report, and they do take that seriously. Selling her stuff, especially if it includes the property from Aaron's, the rental place, would be theft, and that would be a big deal because Aaron's would prosecute it. And
Okay, the money being removed from my account, would that not be considered theft?
that's something that you would need to take up with U-Haul, because they were very clear with Jen that they would not do that. And I think that's ridiculous, and I would be happy to be your advocate in, calling them and telling them they need to honor their commitments. Because you're right, that is bullshit.
Zero balance.
Okay, that I can't help with. All I'm trying to do is solve problems. If you would like...
All I'm trying to do is get my money. She told me she was going to take care of it. Obviously, you all did not take care of it. They did not take care of it. Because, for one, you sound like the same person my other half talked to when they said it was you all. Okay? This is the same number that has popped up on my phone several times that Jennifer has called from. Okay? I need the money by Friday. I've already let her know that. I will get a hold of TPD to let them know. If my money is not here by Friday, the money that was removed from my account, I'm having a yard sale, period. The stuff is in my possession.
Okay, so let's calm down real quick. We're getting kind of excited.
Calm down. Do you not understand?
Calm the fuck down. Cool your jets, Turbo. No, listen, hey, I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy, guy. Lady, I'm not your enemy. Hey, I've already said I will cut you a goddamn check if you just calm the fuck down. Will you do that for me, please?
Hold on. Baby, will you talk to this fucking moron? I don't fucking know. Somebody for Jack.
Hello?
Hi, my name's Brian. I'm with Seattle Register and the Glossy Podcast. Who am I speaking with?
My name's Kurt. I'm the one that,
It's the moron that's married Stefan's fucking sister. I'm not stupid.
That is correct. I am married to Stefan's sister.
Can I get the fuck out of here?
But I am also a newsman and a podcaster, and I'm here to help. I have said about 3 times now, I'm willing to cut a check if Captain Cuckoo Pants calms the fuck down.
okay, all I know is I just need my money back because I agreed to help them and they have bit me more than once.
Buddy, I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to prevent your wife from going to jail for selling property that belongs to Aaron's. You're not going to get $192 from a yard sale. We both know that. If you do that, you'll be committing a criminal act, and I don't want you to do that. Jen don't want you to do that. Nobody wants you to do that. So can you and I, as friends, as enemies who get along, as whatever, just work it out?
Okay, as long as I get my money, I'm happy with it.
Okay. Would you be willing to drive to my house tomorrow to pick up a crisp $100 bill?
What was that?
Would you be willing to drive to my house tomorrow to pick up a crisp $100 bill?
Okay, unfortunately, that wouldn't cover it. They took 143 plus out of my account, which is supposed to pay a bill come tomorrow morning, actually. But that's not the point. The point point is I need to get that money back. It was supposed to be, there was an agreement that they were paying for the U-Haul.
And unfortunately, it's U-Haul that's broken the deal. U-Haul was only supposed to take, they were supposed to hold it as credit and take payments, and they chose not to. And as I said to your wife or girlfriend or whatever, I would be happy to be your ally in that fight. But what I'm saying is, if you try to sell their stuff or sabotage their stuff, Aaron's, who is the legal owner of the only things of value in their storage unit, will likely get very, very ugly. And I don't want that to happen. You don't want that. Nobody wants that to happen. So Jen and Stephen are not my problem. I'm just trying to make peace. What can I do to help you to make peace?
Like I said, I just need my money back, and for them to take care of their U-Haul stuff, because I did it just to help them. I just got out of surgery the day before this stuff happened.
Okay, they've been living in my house for a month, and a couple years ago they lived in my house for 3 months. I've never taken 1 penny of rent or utilities. We're all in this together, man. I don't agree with their choices necessarily, but I help to the best of my ability. So, I'm trying to help. If you don't want my help, I won't help.
See, that's not what I said.
Okay. And by the way, thank you for working with me. I appreciate this. I really do.
Number one, I work tomorrow, so there's no way I can drive up there.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. Tell me what I can do to prevent the end of the world.
Like I said, I just need my money back so I can pay my bills. It's just not supposed to happen.
I agree. But selling their stuff is not a solution that works for anybody.
That wasn't my idea, so.
I understand, and again, I appreciate you being patient with me. I'm not trying to cause trouble. So, what can I do to prevent her stuff from being stolen? If you get $192 on the 1st, would that do it?
Well, the problem is I have bills that are due before that. That money was supposed to pay 3 bills. And unfortunately now I can't pay that because I don't have the money.
I understand.
I can't pay again until for another 2 weeks.
Do you have a PayPal account by any chance?
I don't.
Okay. Well, I can't help you there then. I'm just trying to find solutions that results in nobody going to jail and nobody losing.
We can drive to Tacoma tomorrow.
Unfortunately, I have an interview in Bellevue.
What about Friday?
Friday might work.
I can give you an address to drive to where I work. Pretty easy to find.
Where do you work?
Tacoma.
Well, I imagine that's on the map.
It's, building's been there for 92 years.
Okay. Could I bring you 100 on Friday, with the rest coming at the end of the month?
That's fine.
And we're okay for today?
Yes.
I appreciate you being so reasonable. And I'm saying that with sincerity.
I do try.
All right. I will have Jen make the arrangements for us to see you on Friday.
Okay.
If you'd like to know the conclusion of that one, it was that I did drive down to Tacoma and put not one crisp $100 bill in his hand, but 5 crisp 20s. He was not exactly pleasant, not exactly personable, but at least he wasn't that raging lunatic that is his wife. By the way, that's not Jen's dad. That's not Jen's stepdad because they're not married. That's her uncle's stepdad. I don't know how that works, but apparently in a world where we can't correct the difference between $192 and $142, and it's worth committing criminal acts to try and recoup $30 by selling shit illegally on Facebook. All that stuff makes sense. So, guys, I hope you're watching this. Don't be fucking Looney Tunes in the future. I can only cut so many checks. So there's a new subreddit that's blown up in the last couple weeks. It's called Roast Me, available at reddit.com/r/roastme. And the idea is you have to post your own pictures, and you have to post it with a little picture so people know that it's actually you and you actually know you're being roasted. But what happens is people then look at your photo and roast the shit out of you. And they're savage, and it's wonderful. If you're a hot chick, you'll get 100 times the replies, which I am not. So what I posted was a picture of me here in the studio with my headphones partway on and a piece of paper that says, roast me. So let's see what we got. You should consider shaving your balls. Oh shit, that's your chin. Sorry. Not bad, not bad. You look like a fucking egg with sideburns and a cobweb on the top. Pretty good, but I don't actually have sideburns, so... You look like a 1970s porn director. Okay, well, I would actually invent time travel to make that happen, so that's fair enough. You look like you brew vodka in your bathtub, sell it to 13-year-old girls, wait till they pass out, and then have your way with them. Well, that seems unnecessary. Oh, look at me. I have art of Einstein because I have an inferiority complex and I'm trying to come off as a very intellectual individual. Yeah. With the response, E = micropenis. The headphones aren't helping you hide your Homer Simpson hair. Yeah, that's fair. I loved you in The Shining. Oh, hey, if you're saying I look like a young Jack Nicholson, I'll take it. I commend your self-esteem, because I would have ended it a long time ago if I was you. My favorite, by far. You better double-check that trailer is more than 500 yards from a school. Oh, there were so many variations on this, but this was by far the best. Hey, Carl, why isn't the rest of Aqua Teen Hunger Force in the picture? Just go bald, man. Even your hair tries to escape. If you were in a film, you would be called generic Russian bad guy number 1. Well, that's a shitty thing to say. Clearly, I'd be number 2. You look like a shitty goofball bookie from a gangster movie. Okay, that's not bad. I'll take that. Yeah, and there were a couple others that for some reason I wasn't able to save or didn't save. But I don't remember them now. So obviously they weren't that good. So yeah, check it out. Reddit.com/r/roastme. But make sure your self-esteem is in check, because if it's not, you're going to have a bad day. Technology. Self-driving cars. Those are a pretty obvious technology, but what about self-driving semis? Oh my God, they're going to change everything. Trust me. Self-driving cars are already showing to be safer than humans, which is, great. They've got their eyes on the road. They've got a 360-degree view. They're never sleepy. They're never distracted. They don't text. They don't daydream. They don't fall asleep. It's awesome. And best of all, to my knowledge, self-driving vehicles have yet to be drunk on the road. No drunk, no high, no risk of amphetamines, unlike current truck drivers. So, what's the real benefit? Sure, just replacing them, we can see that. But if it costs $200,000 to replace a driver who only costs $30,000, it's not worth it. No, the big thing is they can run full steam 24/7. Imagine that. A world where a single truck with a single operator can run every hour of every day, stopping only for food and fuel. And really, why would he even have to stop for food? He knows he's got a 48-hour shift. Just pack 48 hours worth of lunch. Have a little kitchen in there. Who cares? You don't have to sit at the wheel. Just go back and make a sandwich, man. Since 1939, operators have only been allowed to keep their trucks on the road a federal legal maximum of 11 hours per day. So that means instead of traveling 627 miles a day, figuring 11 hours at 60 miles an hour with 5% of the time for refueling, the same cargo could travel more than twice the distance, 1,368 miles. So that saves 54% from the cost of the driver of the big rig, while reducing the transit time by essentially half. The 2,908 miles from New York to San Francisco could easily be traveled in less than 3 days. You could send a semi and still beat 3-day air travel. Fraction of the price. You could move a whole semi-trailer coast to coast with one driver. Unbelievable. No more trucks idling overnight. Think about that. You ever seen those truck stops where endless semis are just sitting there burning fuel? A refrigerated truck simply cannot turn its engine off. It just can't. A semi can only run 11 hours a day, meaning there are 13 hours that this truck must remain running without moving an inch. So an idling truck consumes about a gallon per hour, meaning that for those 13 hours, it's $52 in diesel fuel being burnt. If a rig is only in use 4 days a week, that's a savings of almost $11,000 a year. So according to data from over a decade ago, transportation.anl.gov/pdfs/ta/373.pdf, idling trucks use as much as 2 billion gallons of fuel per year. At $4 a gallon, low in many states, but right now it's a little high, that means $8 billion in wasted fuel. So by getting rid of that waste, not only would it narrowly trim the cost of your transportation for whatever goods, produce, electronics, clothing, it would also reduce the demand for fuel, lowering your price at the pump, and basically it would save everybody less greenhouse gases, all of it. So what about the other benefit of semi-trucks that are autonomous? Reduced drag from smarter caravans. So no driver is going to be pushing the speed limit if he's a robot. Truck drivers love to push the limit. If you've ever been on the open highway, you know if it says truck 60, cars 70, the trucks are going 70, 75 because they want to cover ground as quickly as possible. That increases fuel consumption, that decreases safety, and it would become a thing of the past. Let's see. They can file into close, tight, smart caravans to reduce their drag even further. And that's assuming we have one driver for each car, for each semi, when in fact, you could have one driver for a caravan of 5 to 10. I don't know why you would need one driver in all 10 of them. And he can sleep when he's not working. He can cook when he's not working. Basically, he's just an attendant, which is much safer. Why not take a nap? And if there's an issue, a siren goes off and the caravan just safely pulls to the side of the road. Massively reduced carbon emissions. Oh, yes. When a truck sits idle, it creates 22.38 pounds of CO2 emissions per gallon, which means per hour, which means 291 pounds of CO2 per night of idling. Come on. If we can just eliminate that tomorrow, why wouldn't we? A rig working just 4 days a week will generate over 30 tons of CO2 emissions in a single year, half of which we can erase. So the real losers in this, and there are real losers, well, the truck stops might lose a bit because they sell showers and they sell food and they, the real losers, let's face it, they're going to be the lot lizards. They normally feast on the flesh of lonely truckers for odd fistfuls of nickels and even odder dozens of dimes at a time. They're going to be out of work because I'm pretty sure the robo-drivers really don't need 45-year-old dragon vaginas to snack on. Especially when they've got, a Wi-Fi connection or a hotspot connection through their phone with unlimited porn. And they can Skype their wives. Holy smokes. So yeah, the future's right around the corner. It's coming quick, and it's a good thing. I'm sorry to the truck drivers who are going to lose work, but this is for the best. This is for everyone. This will reduce transit costs. This will reduce transit time. This will increase safety. It's just plain better. For more on why this is happening, whether you like it or not, check out CGP Gray's segment, Humans Need Not Apply. It'll scare the hell out of you. That's it for technology. Let's awkwardly move on to the next segment.
Church of Brian.
Welcome, brothers and sisters, to the church. Oh, the Church of Brian. So this week we're talking about sermons and what sermon should be in this, my Church of Brian. Now, mind you, we don't have legal recognition yet, but that's only because I haven't filed the paperwork, and none of you people are chomping at the bit to join. God damn it. So apparently I have ribs and chicken, so I'll resume this in a minute. So the Church of Brian is back in session. Apparently, my neighbor brought me some chicken and ribs off the barbecue, and that's great. But now, my church is overrun with dogs. Dogs, I tell you. So you know what would be better than sermons, at least in my opinion, is TED Talks. Maybe not TED Talks because they're kind of new agey, but maybe Vsauce Talks or Khan Academy Talks or anything based on that kind of curriculum. Quick, fast, quality learning. God, am I out of focus again? Oof, that's what I actually look like. No, the important thing is, if you're going to come together as a community, why learn Bedouin desert man fables when instead you could learn valuable lessons about things that you don't know, like managing your finances or economics or politics or mathematics? You've got all this captive audience. They're doing something they think is fun. Dog, don't eat your barf. Mila, no. And if you're a dog, don't eat your barf. And, yeah. I've gotten totally derailed. So, my point is, there are a lot of valuable things you can learn that don't involve ancient fables and story tales and absurd parts of the Bible taken out of context to make God look like a good guy. If God exists, and he may, I am not above knowing that, he's kind of a dick. This is his autobiography, and yet he kills millions more than the devil. Devil only kills something like 6 people. God kills, just in the Great Flood, about 20 million, 12 to 20 million. I mean, if that's not evidence that abortion is pro-biblical, I don't know what it is. But it is. So, biggest thing this week I wish to impart in the Church of Brian, is to never let faith trump reason. Don't legislate based on things you think your God wants. Legislate on facts. Legislate on the verifiable. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe in 5 years you'll learn otherwise. But in the meantime, my God, you just can't do it. If you legislate on faith, you're going to be wrong at least as often as a coin toss. If you legislate on reason, you stand a chance. That's it for this week's Church of Brian. Amen. My microphone still smells like a new Stomper toy. I love it. So bad words are a fact of life. They're something that some people really hold dear, and, it's like a big crusade for them. Since the early 90s, I've crusaded against political correctness. I think it's just plain silly. If you are easily triggered, I warn you, this segment has a trigger warning. Bad words can't hurt you. Words only have the power you give them. There was a recent case where a man was roughed up beyond belief following an arrest for flipping off a cop. One guy on Reddit said, well, if you flip someone off, you kind of deserve to have your ass kicked. Why? I disagree. I disagree very strongly. You can flip me off. It means nothing to me. Unless, you're someone close to me whose opinion I value. What the hell do I care? You flipping me off tells me more about you than it tells me about me. And if I disagree with that, that's my fucking problem. So, another example would be in traffic. If another driver flips me off, there's one of two possibilities. Either I did something to deserve it, in which case, mea culpa. Yep, you got me. Sorry. Or I didn't, in which case, well, that guy's just crazy. There's no reason for me to get upset because someone flipped me off. No, someone cuts me off, someone pisses me off, I just give them the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Nothing's more offensive than the thumbs down. It's non-offensive. It is damn near meaningless, but all of it is. Thumbs down, man. You totally shouldn't have done that. But the truth is, I don't do that either. No, I drive a minivan. Very few people cut me off because I'm going so slow. And very few people feel cut off by me because they can't see around me to know whether or not there's cars in front of them. No, it's fine. It's fine. If a stranger walked up to me on the street and said, you know what? F you, buddy. What do I care? He's having an issue, not me. So that brings us to television. Who cares what the language is on television? Sometimes I'll watch shows from the BBC and there'll be bad words in it. And then I realize, yeah, who gives a shit? Who cares? Are we not past that? There was an episode of Penn and Teller Bullshit where these ultra-conservative people explain that it's offensive to use bad language. I don't say fuck you, I say fajule. Except what she means is fuck you. So what's the fucking difference? Either words can hurt you or they can't. And guess what? They can't. Words only have the power that you give them. So I welcome the triggered community to come in and tell me all the myriad reasons I'm wrong. But they can go fuck themselves. Did I trigger you? Did I trigger you? Well, yeah. Let's call it a day right there. Running a little short this week, but running a little strong. So I'm proud of that. We didn't have an interview. Usually those take up an absurd amount of time, but I don't have that luxury. I also didn't do a hot stream for your face. Those take up a bunch of time, but those will be back. And everything else, well, you know, mostly I was just experimenting with my new equipment. So yeah, let's just go ahead and hit the closing song, because I haven't done that yet. Yeah. Segment bumpers by Greg the Hero. Royalty-free music by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Follow me everywhere you can. Shortest place to do it is glossynews.com/podcast. From there you can find links to Reddit, iTunes, Libsyn, YouTube, Glossy News, I don't know, all kinds of places. You should totes check me out. And if you haven't already subscribed, you should do that, because, you know, there's only so long I can do this without anybody responding in any fucking way whatsoever. So yeah, I think, just to kill some time here, what am I at? 1:55. Damn it. What else should I say? Oh, that's right, the closing thought of the week. Oh, that's right, the closing thought of the week. So, you know what they say, whenever somebody does something really stupid, they say, there's one of you born every minute. No, that's not what they say. They say a fool is born every minute. No, that's not right. Oh, I remember. They say a believer is born every minute. Now remember, kids, there's a reason your parents start you off on your dogma at a young age. If they were to introduce you to certain political beliefs or certain religious beliefs or certain philosophical beliefs too young, you'd just never go for it. I mean, if you waited until you were 30 before your parents told you you shouldn't be friends with minorities or people of a different gender identity or people of a different religious identity, you'd tell them they're crazy. No. Suckers are made, not born. Believers are born. It's your job to differentiate yourself between being a sucker and a believer. I'm not saying your beliefs are wrong. I'm saying if you've never questioned them, you have no way of knowing otherwise. Alright guys, that's it for this week. Come back next Sunday night or Monday morning. And I have every reason to believe I'll be here for you. Yeah, we're still running a little short. Maybe I'll let the song run a few seconds. Take care, guys.